Buyer beware. In the aftermath of Harvey, scammers might try and prey on unsuspecting consumers looking to buy a used car. In Houston alone, 500,000 cars were damaged, and as many as half could end up back on the dealer lots. So how can you avoid buying a car that was flooded out from Harvey? Let's ask the host of The Property Man and Fox News legal analyst, Bob Massi. Hey, Bob.
Good morning, Ainsley.
Good morning. This just sounds crazy. You see the video of all these cars submerged in water. Some of these are salvageable, and they're going to end up back on the lot?
Sure. You know, we always talk about homes and contents of homes. We've heard about all the cars that are damaged. Yeah, what happens is the insurance companies will come in and adjust the cars. Sometimes they total them or they sell them for salvage. And what happens is, if they're restored, they're sold at an auction, and they could be shipped anywhere in the country. And so as a result, when you're buying a used car, it can have flood damage, and it's another way that basically people could become victims themselves of something that happened in another state when buying a used car.
What about the responsibility of the dealership if they know they're buying a car that was flooded?
Yeah, I mean, they're responsible to disclose it, but, you know, the dealership you're dealing with is the credibility of the dealership you're dealing with. So if in fact you are buying a used car, you have to be diligent yourself as the person buying. You have to ask, when was the car shipped? Get the VIN number. Get the car inspected. Let them know. And if they back off and say, oh, no, 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 then you have a problem potentially. And they have a responsibility to say, this is a flood damaged vehicle. And when you read the statistics on it, it's amazing. I couldn't believe it when I started researching this story, how many times this happens all over the country, that these cars from these catastrophes end up being sold to consumer. And some of the symptoms, if you will, of flood damage, Ainsley, sometimes they say it takes 6 months to a year to even manifest itself.
I was going to ask you that. What is the lifespan of a flooded car? I mean, do they work again?
Yeah, well, that's what's interesting. What they said is with all the cars that are being made today, the technology like we find in iPhones, that's the problem. The water damages these computers so bad that whatever repairs that are done, they're basically never to the standard they should be. So when you're buying these used cars as a result of flood damage and you don't know that, ultimately they say it's basically going to tumble down. And as a result, you, the consumer, again, gets on the don't side and they get screwed in the deal.
Well, it's like, what do you do? I mean, cars are so expensive. And my dad always said, don't ever buy a brand new car because the moment you drive it off the lot, it devalues. It's the worst investment. But in this circumstance, though, maybe you should buy new.
Well, listen, I mean, obviously there are some people that could afford new cars and some that can't. But the reason why we wanted to point this story out to our viewers today is understand that when you are in a position to go buy a used car, understand you have the right to ask questions. Understand you have to, on any kind of car, by the way. But is this a flood damaged car? Was it shipped from anywhere in Florida or Texas or anywhere else where we have flood damage? Be diligent. Ask the questions and check Carfax. They do say that Carfax will report some of these issues. You just got to be diligent and recognize the car that you're buying as it appears may not be what it actually appears to be.
Okay. Thank you, Bob. Great advice. Something you wouldn't, I would not even think about that when I go to buy a car. So thanks for making making us aware of that. The Property Man airs on Fridays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on FBN.